TCU coming off the big win over George Mason. Iowa State, the tough loss to Florida Southern, or Florida A&M rather. Horned Frogs control it. They go into the big man immediately, and Samuel is on the board.
Great set play design right out of the gate to go right at Solomon Young. Kevin Samuel just buried him on the box.
There is a big size advantage. Samuel on Young to start this game. They will go to Solomon Young. He gets a hook shot up and no good.
Both teams old school post-ups to begin the game. Advantage TCU.
Samuel is screened for Dennis. Bounce pass. Samuel fouled on his way to the hoop. Good start here offensively for TCU.
Steve Prohm talked about it at length this morning at the shoot-around. The key on the defensive end is being able to defend all of TCU's multiple ball screens, and that time showed out but didn't cover on the backside as Samuel went to the rim.
We welcome everyone to ESPN News, watching TCU Iowa State. We are in Fort Worth, Texas. Just started here in Fort Worth. Kevin Samuel at the line for TCU. 9-3 Horned Frogs looking to kick off Big 12 conference play with a win over Iowa State. TCU has won the last 4 games in this matchup.
Good job by Iowa State. They let Samuel free, but you have to put him on the free throw line where he's absolutely dreadful.
Floater in the lane. Nice shot from Rozier Bolton.
Well, Bolton is the one standing person for Iowa State. He had a really good game against Florida A&M, and he has to be aggressive and place a point a little bit too, but he's an aggressive scorer.
Welcome everyone from ESPNU. Just finished up watching Wichita State defeat Ole Miss. TCU Iowa State locked at 2, a minute and a half into the game here in Fort Worth, Texas, alongside Tim Welsh. I'm Chucky Kempf. The Big 12 opener, game number 4 of the day for the Big 12 Conference.
And right out of the gate, you see an issue with the new three-point line, stepping out of bounds on that sideline, deep in the corner.
Nemhard, a screen from Samuel. He gets downhill, has a lot of space, and Samuel punishes the rim on the putback.
Absolute great recovery, and then Samuel on the other end.
Bane running the break. Samuel Greyer for 3, and that's off the mark. A fast-paced game right now. Kevin Samuel punching the clock at both ends. Another turnover. This is something we talked about with Jamie Dixon, or rather Steve Prohm, that TCU, they're lengthy. They're really crafty on defense.
They're one of the better teams statistically in the country at taking the ball away, and they don't do it with traps. They're not the old press Virginia. They just do it with their hot hands. They get up on the basketball, do a great job on ball screens.
Dennis guarded by Bolton. Comes Samuel again with that high ball screen. Nemhard skip pass to Dennis. Stolen away by Solomon Young, but it hits the baseline. TCU gets possession. There's Jamie Dixon, year number 4 at TCU. He's 21 wins in each of the first 3 years. Rebound Haliburton.
Good look out of that baseline out of bounds play, and Iowa State's got to tighten up their coverage.
Prentice Nixon pulls up, knocks it in.
That's what Nixon can do with a lock and load coming off that little rub screen on the weak side. Good timing, good delivery.
Through the other way, Bane answers quickly.
At the college line, that was deep downtown Fort Worth. And Desmond Bane, that's what he did against Mason the other night. George Mason, 5 for 7 from the 3.
Wide open for Bolton. 3's flying both ends. Bane rebounds. Desmond Bane holds up for reinforcements. TCU by 2. Bane trying to feed it into Samuel. Step back, really tough shot, and he traveled.
Well, they call that in college. They don't call it in the NBA. That's the James Harden move. That is a travel every time James Harden steps back, pretty much. But good call by Rick Crawford.
Steve Prohm, year number 5. They are 7-5. 4 of their 5 losses to pretty good teams. Now, as a former coach, I know you say there's no good loss, but 2 good opponents, at least, is what Iowa State has seen. And what he's had to do this year, after they lost so much off of last year's team, has been really impressive. And this team that they have in Iowa State seems like one with a very high ceiling.
Well, there's no good loss, but there's bad losses, and they're coming off a horrendous loss against Florida A&M, with or without Haliburton. I don't care. We've got to take care of that business. So Steve's got to regroup his team mentally, and I think that's what they spent the week on. He's the coach to do it. He's a positive guy, and he said, listen, we got to get back to work, and it's a new season, and I think he's approached it very well. His team looks ready tonight.
3 new faces out there for TCU. Fuller, long 3. Jamie Dixon does not like that shot.
A lot of threes flying quickly for TCU.
Mismatch underneath. They miss Michael Jacobson. Now a floater. Tough shot. A little scoop there from Prentice Nixon.
Good early results for Iowa State coming off that loss of the night, but the big difference is number 22 on the floor. He just does so many things for them that when he doesn't play, they seem so lost for the entire night.
Great feed from Fuller into Samuel.
They're going to run that to death. Jamie will keep going back to that spread pick and roll with Samuel at the top. They've got to adjust their coverages and give some help on the backside on the roll.
Jacobson for 3. TCU not forcing anything in transition. Smith pulls a 3 from the wing. That's no good. Haliburton able to corral it.
No excuse for those quick threes, but you've got a good presence like Samuel. You've got to give him a look at least, and then that will open up the threes on the perimeter.
Good feed from Haliburton to Solomon Young. We're tied at 9.
Oh, he's so fun to watch, Haliburton. He just has his eyes up. It looks like he's going to try to score, but his real intention is to get you to bite, and then he's going to find the open man.
Nice wraparound from Bane. Samuel finishes over Bolton.
It's 1, 2, 3, automatic. Every time they run that middle ball screen, Iowa State gets caught on the hedge, and nobody's rotating on the backside to step in front of Samuel before it's too late, right at the rim.
Samuel, 8 of TCU's 11. Reinforcements coming in for the Cyclones in the form of George Condit at the next whistle. Nixon finds Jacobson where he missed the last one. That one falls.
Willed that one in. Oh, he's a better shooter than his numbers on the season, but that time he was wide open. Here it is again, the middle pick.
Their early 3.
Tell you what though, if I'm Jamie Dixon, I don't mind Desmond Bane taking those shots because him being aggressive early has been sometimes a concern for TCU, that he kind of waits for the game to come to him instead of attacking on the get-go. And that guy can attack right there, every play.
Tyrese Haliburton at 6'5" at that point guard position. So athletic, he is tough to handle. Nice skip pass, corner 3. Farabello rattles it home.
Francisco Farabello, you like saying that name because he's getting more comfortable here at TCU, looking for a shot, a good assist-to-turnover ratio, learning how to play defense at this level.
Haliburton steps back. That's way off. That's going to take us to our first break. It's been all Kevin Samuel early on.
Kevin Samuel, pick and roll, the great hands, the ability to attack the rack with power, and it catches it right there. That is A+ automatic for TCU. Start to feel a little bit more desperation as the calendar turns to January, and both these teams need to get off to good start just because they're kind of in the middle to lower part of the pack prediction-wise, and they've got to get some confidence moving forward, especially after the non-conference where both teams were kind of up and down at best.
Is that part of it for 2 teams who have replaced a lot from last year, is figuring out what you are really early in the season?
Absolutely, and gaining some confidence, and you could start early and you win a few close games and you start to feel like you belong, and then you have to build on that by going on the road and winning. And this is what Iowa State needs to do, because not a lot of these teams have played many road games leading into conference.
TCU and Jamie Dixon, maybe with something to prove. They were picked to finish last in the preseason poll. Desmond Bane, Kevin Samuel, two guys that can really lead the charge and put them in that middle of the pack and maybe even better.
The middle of the pack's pretty good in this league. No kidding. Talk about the predictions a year ago. Texas Tech was picked 7th and came within a whisker of winning the national championship. So in this conference, I think people don't understand who has what, because a lot of teams have a lot of newcomers as far as transfers and people that have to step into new roles.
Iowa State picked to finish 7th. They lost a lot from a season ago, and that's where Tyrese Haliburton steps in. How spectacular he has been in the early going. He is the engine that makes them go so far.
Iowa State concerned about guarding the pick and roll, playing some zone defense on this possession. They don't play a lot of it, but they'll throw some 2-3 at you on occasion, now trying to change TCU's rhythm.
Nembhard over the top of Condit. Nice job to poke it by Haliburton as Grill corrals it. Grill going to the hoop. Caught up in the air. Nice move by Fuller. 3-on-1. Fuller no-look pass. Farabello wraps it around. Nembhard in some contact, it looked like.
A lot of contact. He got buried underneath the basket.
TCU comes away with it, but Jamie Dixon wanted a foul.
No foul! No foul!
Kevin Samuel right now for the Horned Frogs. Nembhard, hard take to the hoop, and Condit fouls him. That's where 11 to play first half. We are all tied at 14 here in Fort Worth. Welcome to Saturday Showcase, presented by 5 Hour Energy. You're watching the Big 12 Conference on ESPN. We are at TCU in Fort Worth, Texas. Iowa State and the Horned Frogs tied at 14 here midway through the first half. Well, back and forth game so far. A good fight, what we expected. Your thoughts to this point?
Well, fast-paced. I think both teams offensively are pretty much in gear. TCU's taking some quick shots on occasion, but they're doing a good job of spacing the court and getting the ball up the court quickly, and Tyrese Haliburton has been special as always.
Tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app, have the first ACC matchup of the new year for number 2 Duke and Miami. The Blue Devils 20-7 all time against the Hurricanes, but it's been a good last 8 years for the Canes as they've won 5 of the last 10. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy.
Miami's been playing better as of late, and Duke on the road is in Miami, as you just said, Chucky. They've had their issues down there. And should be an up-and-down game as well. A lot of fast break basketball.
It's going to be a foul at this end. Jaden Ledee. Condit fighting for an offensive rebound. That's the first on Ledee. And here comes Kevin Samuel back into the game. So we really get our first look at these two big men going at each other.
Condit is an excellent shot blocker, but he's got to be aware of Samuel because he's so good going over that right shoulder with the left hand.
Here's Haliburton, screen from Condit. Kicks it out. Zion Griffin with 2 to shoot. Left hand. And rolls around. Condit couldn't quite time it right.
Good move in the lane by Griffin. I know they like him as an athlete. He's got that bounce in the lane.
Nembhard skips it over to Bane. Oh, step back from Bane. Wow! Desmond Bane.
That one was not a travel. Great footwork, just getting the defender to lean back, found an angle. He's got that great ability with that strength and soft touch combination.
First field goal in just over 3 minutes. Here goes Condit, left hand up. And one chance for George Condit.
This is giving TCU a little dose of their own medicine, that middle pick and roll with one of the best in the game at delivering that perfect pocket pass. But Condit kind of caught it off balance, but you could see he's got a great combination of power and agility at the rim.
George Condit, the fourth sophomore from Chicago, Illinois. Steve Prohm talking to us today said, I tell him all the time, he probably should have played more last year, but we're getting a full dose of him this year, just under 20 minutes off the bench, and we expect that role may even increase.
Zone again on this possession for Iowa State with Condit man in the middle, keeping his eye on Samuel as he roams the back baseline.
Bane whips a pass to the wing, one to shoot. Really tough shot. Samuel fighting for it underneath the big man. Can't get it to go, and Condit finally corrals it.
Iowa State very fortunate. They didn't foul Samuel, but he had the 2 good looks at it. And again, stepping on the sideline. An epidemic with the new rule.
5th turnover on the Cyclones so far.
Put the 3-point line, extended it, but they didn't narrow the court. I don't understand. Players have to understand where the sideline is. It's not where the 3-point line is, where the sideline is, but you continually see it. We've seen it twice already tonight.
Still in that zone. Bane wraps it around to Samuel. They triple team him in the post. Bane for 3. Yep.
Oh, Kevin Samuel showing a little dexterity down in the box. It looked like they were trying to foul him, but just did a great job of finding the open man. Only his 6th assist on the season, but a good one.
11-0 TCU run. Bane almost went the other way with that one.
Desmond Bane is fired up today and looking aggressive, and that has been an issue, as we talked about earlier, for TCU. Getting him going early, making him the alpha dog, making him understand, listen, I have to put the team on my back early, and sometimes he's way too unselfish and he kind of lets the game come to him. But now, tonight, he is aggressive early.
Iowa State has not scored in over 5 minutes. Griffin driving. Tries to wrap it to Condit. Haliburton poked it that way. Bane saves it.
Oh, what a great play by Bane. Just staying with the play. Put his nose right on the ball.
Oh, miscommunication. Fuller and Deontay Smith, a couple freshman guards on a different page. 7:47 to play in the first half.
Starting to play poorly. They lost last week in Cleveland to West Virginia, and lost last night at home to Wisconsin, but they have a lot of talent. So, but I'm liking the way Maryland plays. They're very aggressive and strong.
Speaking of strong, Bolton going right at Samuel on the back cut. TCU by 4. Horned Frogs started 1 for 7 from 3. Now 3 of their last 4. In large part thanks to Desmond Bane. 8 to shoot.
No foul!
Smith driving baseline, blocked by Jacobson.
Oh, good recovery. Jacobson got beat on the baseline, but he stayed with the play, and the length bothered Smith.
Trey Jackson trying to get it to Jacobson. Shot from Haliburton.
So that's what he couldn't do a year ago, and that's why this building has about a dozen NBA scouts here. They're keeping a close eye on him because of that improved ability to score.
Travel called on Fuller. Their 4th turnover. Tyrese Haliburton. And there was even buzz last year. He just didn't have quite the dosage we see this year. But he's shooting that from the U in TCU.
He's got good form. It's kind of a push shot, but gets great extension, and he's got that length. You've got to respect it, and it will only get better and better because he is a worker.
Crowd wanted a travel there on Bolton. Tries to get this one up, and a foul call. It will go against Kevin Samuel. His first.
Talks about Tyrese Haliburton and the ability, and here you see Iowa State just driving the ball to the rim, not settling for threes, doing a good job with their offense the last couple possessions of pushing back on TCU. But Haliburton's got all the entire package. He can control the game in a lot of ways. He doesn't have to score. He can. Steve Prohm talked about today. He's going to move him off the ball a little bit, moving forward, and make him another option. Run some screens on the wing for him to curl and get into the lane and try to score. But you know, he's a great character kid as well. Everybody in the Iowa State program talks about him. And I'll tell you this, I like any player that on game day has lunch with his mother. And I saw him earlier today in the hotel lobby with his mom, and that's a good sign.
Wide open for three. Mom's gonna like that one. Iowa State bites back. 26-22 Cyclones.
Like anybody who can make those with a lot of confidence and a smile.
Tyrese Haliburton, you talked about it, Tim. It's definitely an unorthodox shot, but it works, and he is fired up right now.
Well, people ask, can he get that shot off the next level? That doesn't matter, obviously, right now, but I think he definitely can because he's got that length, and he knows how to find angles and get himself open off the ball.
Watch the ball screen. Watch the ball screen.
Dennis, great feed to Samuel.
That's where TCU's been at its best today. Desmond Bane from three, and the pick and roll game with Samuel.
Iowa State by 2, and a fun one to this point here in Fort Worth.
Butter.
Jacobson looking for Bolton on the cut, intercepted.
There's no reason for that. Get the ball back out to Haliburton. Let him make those scoring plays.
Sloppy there from TCU.
It's the second time TCU player coming off a simple down screen, and the timing a little bit off, but give Iowa State's defense credit. They've stepped up in the last few minutes. They're putting pressure on the perimeter. They just have to figure out how to handle that pick and roll with Samuel.
Haliburton, not sure what happened when he was cutting through the lane. Great feed to Young. Haliburton saying he got hit, I think, on that cut. He was talking to one of our officials.
Well, that's a good call from the bench. A little rub screen on the baseline, and then a pick and roll play right on that wing. Very difficult to defend.
All of a sudden, Iowa State in control. Desmond Bane trying to switch it. Bolton and Haliburton, quite the little combo. Haliburton off the glass. Rebound TCU. Bane cutting to the lane, off the glass and good from Nembhard.
Missed 2 in a row of those, but coming back quickly.
No from Jackson. Great fight from Young and Samuel. It'll be TCU basketball when we come back. The Big 12 on ESPN, and earlier today here in Fort Worth, our flyover, Tim Welsh, was like 6 hours early. That was not for us, however. That is the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. TCU down by 2. There's Gary Patterson, TCU's head football coach. Front and center for this one today, rooting on the Horned Frogs.
Nothing like a double dip in Fort Worth. A little football on a 70-degree day. How about that? And used to coach against this guy, and we used to say it was football on the basketball court, coaching against his teams. They were physical. That was before he made an emphasis on the freedom of movement.
You informed me today that he kind of owes you one. You never got him when you faced off against him with Providence.
Figured I'd get at least a better parking spot here or something, or buy me a burger. No, Jamie's too focused. He is laser focused on game day. That's why his teams always play together and hard.
Second foul on Ledee.
That could have been a play on.
We'll have to go to the bench with those 2 fouls, and inbound underneath for Iowa State.
Might have been one of the notorious flop warnings, but the officials are getting away from that situation. I haven't seen many flop warnings as of late. I don't think anybody cares.
If it's not blatant. Nixon with the pull-up, and we got a little back and forth here as Iowa State jumps back out in front by 1.
Well, I think Nixon, Bolton, and Haliburton, as they get more comfortable in the Big 12, they're going to be a contender to be in the middle to upper part of this league. They've got so much firepower out there on the floor. Keep learning how to play together.
Bane, Condit tries to keep it out. It's goaltending.
Right now, Iowa State has an issue with Bane. I heard him with the threes early, but he's got great balance to his game. They're getting up on his toes on the perimeter. He's just blowing by. He's got that room to roam on the wing. He's finding an angle all the way to the rim.
Bane with the game-high 13. Haliburton going to work. Floats it up. He is tough in the lane, and he goes down hard and almost looks like he's holding that wrist that kept him out. The Florida A&M game. Bane again.
And again, the 2 stars showing their worth here. Back to back, just coming at you.
Content off the tip. Timeout called. You see Haliburton holding that taped hand wrist area. He missed their last game, that tough loss they were dealt to Florida A&M with a sprained left wrist. This is a guy last year who stepped into a pretty good role as a freshman, as you see him go down right there and immediately hold that wrist.
That's kind of how it happened, according to Steve Prohm. He went up for a shot in practice and came down on the wrist. See, he's feeling it. It's stinging there, but he's going to take a crane to get him out of the game. He was not happy about the loss the other night to Florida A&M. And said he probably could have played, but they held him out. They were smart about it.
Monday, the final bowl game before the national championship game. Levi Lewis leads the Louisiana Raging Cajuns against Miami of Ohio. Their quarterback, Brett Gabbert. It's in Mobile, Alabama. Raging Cajuns looking to break a 2-game bowl losing streak, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. Football season wrapping up. We get our first full Saturday of college hoops in the new year, and Kevin Samuel is having a day.
TCU's having a good offensive day as well. They have a lot of balance. They're reversing the floor, and they're running their stuff to precision.
Off the glass for Trey Jackson. Another one of those freshman guards we're seeing featured in this game, and a turnover on TCU and a technical foul issued, and it looks like Farabello. The freshman Francisco Farabello from Argentina picks up the technical foul. This place does not like it.
Well, Jamie Dixon could have got a technical, but he was turned away. He was so upset because they missed one travel and then called an immediate travel on his player, and Farabello slammed the ball to the floor. Maybe okay in Argentina, but not in the Big 12. He slammed the ball.
Haliburton calmly drains them both. Iowa State up 2.
You know, and it may seem not like much, but the officials got to adhere to the conduct policy in the rule book, and you can't just show up the official every time. This isn't the NBA.
Iowa State up 2 with the ball. Both teams hot as of late. Iowa State 4 of their last 4 from the field. TCU 5 of their last 5. Trying to keep it going. Jackson on the screen from Condit. Haliburton will take over. A long way from the basket. Here comes Condit. 8 to shoot. Jacobson, 5 to shoot. Condit fades away and no good. Good defensive possession for TCU.
They did a great job defending that middle pick and roll. Gave great help on the backside when Condit rolled to the rim.
Nembhard pulls up. Oh, nice shot from R.J. Nembhard.
A lot of confidence offensively for TCU so far. Both teams in good rhythm.
Iowa State holding for the final shot.
We like points, Chucky. This is what happens in the Big 12. Both teams laser focused.
Haliburton from the logo off the mark. Jacobson puts it up. Haliburton tries to finish. 3, 2, 1. And they're not going to get the shot off. They will call it travel. I don't know if they'll put any time back on or not. Probably not. But an exciting first half comes to a close here in Fort Worth. Both teams letting it fly from long range. 39-38 TCU over Iowa State here at halftime. Day 1 of the Big 12 conference play. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Welcome back to Saturday Showcase, presented by 5 Hour Energy here in Fort Worth, Texas. Really good one on the opening day of Big 12 conference plays. TCU leads Iowa State 39-38, just about to get set here in the second half. Alongside the former coach Tim Welsh, I'm Chucky Kemp, and Tyrese Haliburton and Desmond Bane have been the story for their respective sides. That's how it has to be, though. In this conference, there are no nights off. Your stars have to be good.
Well, they're 2 of the top 5 players in this league. There's no doubt about it. And they proved it here in the first half. They put their team on its back early and often. And they did it in a lot of different ways. They did it with Haliburton, as always, creating for himself, creating for others. Defensively, a terror on the top of that defense for Steve Prohm, and the ability to knock down shots. And then Desmond Bane, the alpha dog, early for Jamie Dixon. That's what they've been trying to do, get him to be aggressive out of the gate, and he was. The step-back threes, the drives to the rim, taking over in transition and making big plays.
There are the numbers. Haliburton with 12, Bane with 16. Both 5 rebounds. They've been efficient. Haliburton +2 in the assist category, one of the top assists per game leaders in the nation, as Desmond Bane looks to pick up win number 1 in the conference slate over Iowa State. TCU hits the road next to play Kansas State. Take a look at our first half numbers. Both teams shot it fairly well. 40% from 3 for Iowa State, 50 for TCU. Turnovers fairly even. Iowa State +4 in the points off of those turnovers. Haliburton, a really tough shot on the baseline. Samuel pulls it down.
He's grabbing that wrist quite a bit and warming up for the second half, but as he gets going, I'm sure he's still going to be aggressive. Just a little short on that one on the baseline.
Nembhard taken away. Haliburton in transition now. Goes right at the defender, flips it up. He is fouled and will go to the line for 2 shots. So we have a 1-point game here at halftime as we get another look at the steal by Bolton.
Well, the great hands by Bolton, but the ability to find something out of nothing, and the quick slap by Bane.
1-point game at halftime. Haliburton at the line for 2. What stands out to you as what could be the driving force behind someone pulling away in this one?
Well, I think both teams are clicking offensively, and give Iowa State all the credit in the world. Just come out today and just kind of forget what happened earlier in the week, and a lot of it has to do with that guy right there on the free throw line. his presence on the floor. It can't be repeated enough that he means so much to Iowa State and what they do out there on the court. And they've handled the ball very, very well. Both teams offensively in a good rhythm and a good balance, both inside and outside.
Samuel, screen for Dennis. They lost track of Samuel, not sure how, and he punishes the rim again.
What's happening is they're staying with that pick and roll. They're staying with the ball handler too long if they're not going to give backside support, and no one's rotating over on the backside and help side to protect the rim.
Foul against Jacobson, 6'11", 250-pound sophomore. That's Kevin Samuel. That is powerful, man.
Again, that's the play they've gone to the well with many times. They're going to run it again. Here, middle pick and roll, see if TCU adjusts.
Bane steps back. To Eric Grayer, now Nembhard. Samuel's been active at the top of the key. Good take down the lane for R.J. Nembhard.
That's what Nembhard can do. At times he forces things from the perimeter, but that time he found that lane to the rim. He is finding himself over the last couple games in a better rhythm.
Nembhard into double digits with 10 points on the day.
Nembhard again on that pick and roll, just turns the corner and Bolton overextends and he finds that angle.
Jacobson. Tough shot, and he's going to be fouled. That was not a great look for Iowa State. Jacobson maybe gets helped out right there. He'll go to the line for 2 shots.
It's definitely a bailout. It looked like Jacobson traveled first, but got away with it down on the baseline.
Grayer's second foul as we see the senior Jacobson go to the line. Big 12 now on ESPN Plus, a must-have for Big 12 basketball fans. The exclusive home for number 3 Kansas and Iowa State this Wednesday, 8 Eastern, as well as Iowa State against number 6 Baylor. That matchup coming up in Waco on January 15th. TCU, Oklahoma, and Norman on the 18th. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com/Big12. Great feed to Dennis, who was fouled, going strong to the hoop. Bane got him on the baseline back cut.
Dennis just simple cut to the rim. The defender turned his head and the State at the brink here. They're a little wobbly. Jacobson missed those 2 free throws and TCU seems to be getting anything they want on this end.
Dennis, a senior from Dallas, Texas. This is his 4th college in 5 years. Started at Hill College, then 1 season at Jackson State. Transferred from UT Arlington to TCU. Largest lead of the game for the Horned Frogs. Bolton blocked by Samuel, and a foul. It's going to be underneath of that play, I think, against Grayer. That is his 3rd, too, so he'll have to come to the bench.
Haliburton was a little misdirection on the weak side and on the drive. Not sure where the foul was there. Grayer didn't look like he was in the neighborhood.
Eric Grayer has to come off. Dante Smith on as it's the sophomore Rozier Bolton at the line. Knocks down both. Back to a 3-point game.
Jamie Dixon has the lead, but not happy with the officials. 4 fouls already in the first 2 minutes of the half.
Dennis downhill, right at Condit. And Iowa State corrals the rebound. Bolton getting downhill. Nice take there by Bolton, going coast to coast. And he's going to go to the line for 2 shots.
First time in a while, TCU did not get back and get their defense set. And they're Bolton, he kind of creates the contact. He goes right into Dennis. That's supposed to be an offensive foul or nothing. And the offensive player initiates the contact.
Farabello in.
We've got the foul calls cooking here early. 5 fouls on TCU in less than 3 minutes.
We're going to see some free throws in this game, Tim. One-point game. Here's Bane. And rolls away, luckily for TCU, right to Smith. Trying to feed Samuel. It's Condit, Samuel. Really good matchup to watch down that post. Smith on Jacobson. 6 to shoot. Taken away by Haliburton. Farabello, the only one back. Euro step, some contact, and offensive.
Steve Prohm not happy.
You've mentioned it a couple times. I thought that one should have been just nothing.
Getting back on defense, and Farabello's trying to get out of the way, and looks like Haliburton just barrels in, but really nothing there.
Both coaches a little frustrated early on. Samuel, great pass, Farabello, corner 3.
Samuel doing the dishing today. That's his 2nd assist. Good job on the step through to find the open shooter in a corner.
Strong move from Condit. Jacobson can't corral it. TCU basketball.
He's got to take his time. Nice job with the step through as well. Instead of powering to the rim, he kind of got off balance.
Still trying to find that second half rhythm right now. A lot of fouls called.
Joe Dixon had to go to his bench with Smith and Farabello in the game, and Smith's been very shaky with the basketball.
TCU deeper than people thought they were coming into the season, aren't they?
Well, they've got a full roster, which they didn't have a year ago, with the injuries they had with some of the transfers in season. So that part, at least you can practice and get better as a whole. But the core of their team is going to be definitely Bane, Dennis, Greer, Nembhard, and Samuel.
Lost 3 of their top 4 scorers from a season ago. Alex Robinson, maybe the biggest name, their point guard, who averaged over 12 points per game and almost 7 assists. Another foul on Iowa State, this one against Prentice Nixon. First break of the second half, TCU up 2 over Iowa State here in Fort Worth.
Well, Desmond Bane has been the star today, but also Kevin Samuel, his sidekick, inside power for TCU, being able to run that side pick and roll and then free will to the rim. Keeps it up high, very fundamentally sound, doing a great job on the defensive end. Great feet as well for a big man, just keeps it up high, and then the soft touch at the rim. Big time numbers today, just playing very hard, running to the rim in transition, and 2 assists, no turnovers.
Extremely efficient from Samuel, 7 of 9 from the field, 5 rebounds to go with those 14 points. TCU, 14 assists on 18 made field goals. They're 10th in the nation in assists per game at 17.5 as Nixon fires away.
Well, that's not good enough. Desmond Bane was in the neighborhood but didn't leave his feet on the contest, and if you don't, Nixon will make you pay.
Just a 2 as we tie things up at 47 apiece. Fuller pulls up, tough shot, rolls out. Jacobson.
That's a bad decision by Fuller. He needs to run the team as the point guard, make sure Bane is involved.
Condit, and Bane has to try and wrap him up underneath.
It's not a democracy out there on the offensive end of the floor. It's like, just because you have the ball, it's not your turn to shoot. And that's where Dennis will learn that. Fuller will learn that as a freshman point guard, that you look first for Bane, and then your offense will come.
Bolton. Jacobson fighting for the rebound underneath. And the ball went over the backboard, the referee saying.
After a good flow in the first half, we kind of come to a screeching halt because of 10 fouls being called. So it's not a knock on the officials, it's really a knock on the players. Playing a little choppy this half.
Fuller trying to go back to the lane. Loose ball right now. Haliburton ends up batting it out of bounds with 12 seconds to shoot. Over 2 minutes without a point for TCU.
Desmond Bane got the 10-second break. I wouldn't take him out for that long.
He made it to the end of the bench, grabbed water, and walked straight back to the scorer's table. Nixon's second foul for Iowa State. Trey Jackson will replace him.
Good job on the help by Jacobson. They ran a double for Bane, but he reacted well and switched out.
Farabello skip pass. 3. Short. Offensive rebound TCU. The clock resets to 20. Another 3. Nembhard this time. That one is short. And Bolton has it.
It's too quick by Nembhard on the offensive rebound. Reset. Get a better look.
Haliburton directing traffic. Here comes Condit. Bolton going into Condit, and a foul on Ledee. That's going to be number 3 on him.
And the bonus.
Just under 14 minutes left in this game. Iowa State is almost there. 5 team fouls on them, but TCU has to tiptoe around. Too much physicality.
Excuse me, Chucky. That's just bad defense by Ledee. You know, he waited to defend Condit after the ball was passed. You have to play your defense early, get around, wrap around, but he reached from behind.
Tonight, 8 Eastern, it is Duke and Miami, the first ACC matchup of 2020 for the Blue Devils, who are trying to pick up the pace against the Canes, who have won 5 of the last 10 against the Blue Devils, dating back to 2012. Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy.
Miami's also won 5 in a row this season. 3 players averaging 15 a game, Vasiljevic, Likes, and McGusty. So Duke's got to be aware defensively. Miami's got a lot of firepower.
Samuel off balance, finally, somehow gets the pass away. Farabello, great move and a scoop layup.
It tells me he worked on that in his backyard in Argentina. A little scoop up and under from the little guy.
Haliburton to Condit, block called, and you have to think he was in the restricted area.
John Higgins is standing right there as he points to the arc, and absolutely. But here, a little up and under, Argentinian style. A really good official to see that arc here at TCU. A lot of colors in the lane. We've got the black, we've got the purple, we've got the, is that cherry? Chucky, the restricted arc.
Blends a little bit. Desmond Bane, maybe some trouble here, because that was his 4th foul, Tim. And now TCU has to find a way.
Well, that is troublesome for Jamie Dixon, you know, and I think he will trust him and put him back in earlier than you might think. But the problem is, a player like that, he's so aggressive offensively, you have to worry about him on the defensive end, but possibly getting a charge if you put him back in with 4.
10th tie of the game. They go to Samuel, reaches over Condit, left hand. Somehow gets it away, and Haliburton off of Fuller, and this place is irate.
John Higgins was standing right there. Sometimes it's hard to see a play that comes right up on top of you. But Darren George was there as well and didn't give him any help. But the call goes to the superstar. Tough call.
Bolton. Samuel denies it.
That's a bad decision by Bolton. The help came. He's got to look to pass that.
TCU had numbers and they turn it over.
Smith's just not ready for prime time. He's trying to make plays he can't make.
Haliburton got caught in the air there. This game a bit sloppy the last minute. Haliburton will slow things down. Haliburton maybe got away with a walk right there. Great offensive rebound. Look at the sophomore fight. Nixon floats it. Iowa State gets a bucket and the lead. Jamie Dixon wants a timeout.
Wanted one, but he didn't get it.
And now he says play.
Changed his mind. Sometimes that happens.
To the hoop. Condit fouls. And one chance for Nembhard. 51 apiece. TCU, Iowa State, the Big 12 conference opener for both sides. That man right there, Desmond Bane, who has 16 points, leads all scorers, has 4 fouls for TCU. And now Jamie Dixon has to figure out, one, who steps up for Desmond Bane as we look at their leading scorers, Nembhard with 12. Who steps up for them?
Well, it's got to be Nembhard and Samuel, but who's going to run the team? Who's going to look to take that good shot? And Jamie's got the 2 freshmen in the game. Obviously, he trusts them, and it's team check time right now for TCU because obviously it's a long Big 12 season, and you're going to have some moments where Desmond Bane is maybe not ready, not available, and now who's going to step up? But I think the question is, when do you put him back in? I think you got to keep an eye on the score. You know, if the game stays close, then it's under 5. If Iowa State pulls ahead a little bit, maybe sooner.
Haliburton going baseline. Got caught up in the air a little bit. And here's Bolton. Condit mid-range.
Condit's got to get himself around the basket and take the ball right to Samuel. He doesn't need to be stepping up, out, taking those jumpers.
Combination of Bane and Samuel are 65% shooting the basketball, 33% from the rest of the Horned Frogs in this one.
I like Condit a lot. That was a very good rebound. He's done a pretty good job on Samuel as well, not letting him loose and getting good low post position.
Tyrese Haliburton has played every second of this game for Iowa State. Condit, one hand.
That's where Condit is very good. Steve Cohn talked about it earlier today. He's great in the pick and roll game with Tyrese Haliburton. That's the exact same play that TCU runs, that middle pick and roll with the shooters in the corner.
Cyclones back in front, 10 to play in the second half.
No fouls, no fouls.
3 to shoot, Nembhard. Tough shot, oh, he got it.
Nembhard's playing with a lot of confidence. There's no doubt that he thinks he's the best player in the building, and you love that about him because no problem, clock running down, he is very willing to take that shot and able.
Haliburton, oh my goodness, rises up.
That time he refused the pick and roll, and Nembhard kind of was leaning to play the pick and roll in the middle of the floor, and Haliburton just found that angle, and the help came late.
Timeout, Jamie Dixon. Tyrese Haliburton showing off the springs on that drive.
You can blow by him and get to the rim, go.
Nembhard running the show with Samuel. 3 ball is short. Rebound Condit. That one from Jair Grayer.
Good three-point shooter. He said he was hit on the wrist. It was partially blocked.
Here comes Haliburton. Bolton right at Samuel. Gets it up quickly on the shot blocker.
That's the explosion of Ajir Bolton. He has that ability, that knack to score, and really aggressive.
Bane actually stayed on the bench. Looked like he checked in during that timeout, but he actually ends up staying on the bench. I think even he thought he was coming in. Grayer for three.
He wanted to come in, but Jamie Dixon, I was surprised he was going to come in this early in a close game, a tie game. Grayer shot that last air ball, but you see that ability he has. That's his game. He can lock and load from downtown.
All square. Into Condit working on Samuel. Into the corner, an extra pass. Haliburton fires away. Rims out. Condit is there. He can't get it, but a foul called underneath. And Condit will go to the line when we return. Tied again, 57 apiece. 7:36 to play in Fort Worth. What a start we have had today to the Big 12 slate. TCU, Iowa State locked at 57 with 7:36 to go. These are the games that we really expect night in and night out. You don't always get it. Texas Tech kind of blew out Oklahoma State in the second half of their game today, but for the most part, we've seen some really competitive games in the Big 12.
Well, Iowa State stepped on the floor, and immediately you saw that they had their mojo back from earlier with like a win over Seton Hall, and the confidence back in how they play. And they played tough today. They answered TCU in a lot of ways, and they're starting to get to the free throw line. And TCU battling some foul issues. Desmond Bane. And the question is, when will Jamie Dixon put him back in? I think he's going to put him back in right around the 5 or 4 minute mark.
Oh, bad pass right there. Should have been stolen away. Grayer bounce passes it, and Ledee couldn't handle it. Probably should have been a turnover in the first place. That's TCU's 12th of the game.
Unless they keep handling the ball like that, then it'll be earlier, because they look very lost on that possession. Sometimes, even though Bane is not the point guard, just the presence of a star out there who's your offensive go-to guy settles everyone down.
Don't let him off. Don't let him off the hook.
Good feed from Haliburton. Floater, tough shot. Condit fighting for it. And Haliburton has it. Condit rises up.
How does that happen? That the great players find a way that the ball just squirts right to their hands. Tyrese Haliburton, again, the presence of mind to scoop that up right in the middle of that whole big mess.
Cyclones tie their largest lead of the game. 3 ball in from Dennis.
That's just bad defense by Iowa State. You cannot go underneath a ball screen out on the top to a shooter.
Jamie Dixon says can't take it with you, so Desmond Bane is at the table. But Dennis stepping up big right now. Stops, wanted it, but kind of got off balance and over that 3-point line.
Well, good job by Edric Dennis just to settle down. Looked like he was going to go for it again, but that time Farabello was there to reorganize the offense.
Eight to shoot. Dennis comes out, and TCU kind of lost right now. 3 to shoot. Down the baseline, and I think that goes against Condit. Really just bailed the Horned Frogs out. That's his 3rd foul of the game. And Jamie Dixon changes his mind again. That Dennis 3, I think, is what did it, too.
Well,
pull it back to 1.
Certainly you don't want to put him in when you're going down on the defensive end of the floor. And you may have the lead after these 2 free throws, but Nembhard can't deliver.
Dribble weave here from Iowa State. Here comes Haliburton. Condit working on Ledee, And a foul called down on that baseline.
Well, that's a bailout too by Ledee. He's just got to hold his ground down there. He did a pretty good job doing his work early and push Condit way off the block. You don't have to play defense here. Just let Condit go to work. Look how far he is off the block. You don't have to reach in, and he does, and puts him on the line. A bailout.
It's Ledee's fourth, so Samuel will be coming in. You see some foul trouble there for TCU. Bane, Ledee with 4. Grayer has 3. I think we will get Bane and Samuel coming in. Home stretch for TCU. You got to be happy, though, if you're Jamie Dixon. Only down by 1, 2 at the most if Condit makes this without Bane for a considerable period of time.
Well, they've done a good job. You know, Dennis and Grayer are 2 experienced players, and they've stepped up.
.5:20 to play. Iowa State by 2. Dennis poked away, turnover.
Too much traffic in the middle. Dennis should have looked to kick it back out.
Haliburton lost the handle, almost backcourt. Bane over the top of your screen, guarding Bolton in the corner. Here goes Haliburton, 5 to shoot. Condit, extra pass, corner 3. No good, Bane rebounds.
Not sure that's the shot they wanted, but they really had no choice. They waited too long to go.
Bolton, Haliburton in transition. Tyrese Haliburton.
Oh, and a foul on top of it, but he threw it down with such authority. They missed the call. Too much dribbling for TCU. They've got to work with the pass, see if they can get Bane an open look.
Tough 3. Nembhard answers, and then some.
Nixon just got caught flat-footed, and Nembhard in rhythm on the wing. A lot of confidence for that guy. Got that length at 6'5".
Mismatch underneath. Haliburton saw it the whole way.
He sees everything.
He's special.
Who's sitting in the 15th row while he's making a play? He's got great vision.
Haliburton is a rebound and an assist away from a triple-double. Bane to the hoop. Lost his balance, traveled.
It's hard to sit. Bane looks a little out of rhythm himself.
Haliburton and Bane, we talked about him at the beginning. Haliburton Cyclones up 3 over TCU. What's it got to be? Let's start with TCU and Desmond Bane. What has to happen in these last 3 minutes?
Well, if you're Jamie Dixon, you got to run a play for him. Just tell him to go. I want you to go score. I want you to be aggressive. Don't worry about the fouls on the offensive end. Be careful on the defensive end, but be yourself on the offensive end. And how do you stop this guy? I don't know how you stop him. You know, he's got the ball on a string. He's so long. He's clever. He's unselfish, and if you play the passing lanes, he's going to go get his own. So right now, they've got a ton of work to do in how to figure out that high ball screen, that wing ball screen, because he is playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Number that stands out for TCU. They've had at least 11 offensive rebounds in every game coming into this one. Only 5 today. Steve Prohm talked about rebounding being one of his keys. Iowa State has kept TCU off of the offensive glass. Iowa State actually +3 in the rebounding category. Here's some pressure.
Just give it to that man. He'll make the right decision. Haliburton, they threw it back, which you don't want to usually do against the pressure unless you've got Tyrese Haliburton there as your outlet.
Jackson to Condit. Bolton. Samuel denies him. Dennis rebound. Some numbers for TCU.
Good set they ran, a little split scissor play off the top, but Bolton should have maybe pulled it back out because Samuel was in the neighborhood.
Dennis going to work, floats it for Samuel, and it's in.
Nice play called from the bench by Jamie Dixon. They cleared out the backside, and Samuel has those great soft hands, keeps the ball above his head, laid it right in.
The TCU trio of Nembhard, Bane, and Samuel have scored 50 of their 65. Haliburton, oh, great find. Corner three, too strong. Samuel rebound.
It's a great find, but Trey Jackson has struggled from the three this year. You see Haliburton take that ball all the way to the rim. He had Bane on him on that possession. Maybe see if Bane would present any resistance with the 4 fouls.
TCU looking for the lead. After Bane set for 7.5 minutes, the Horned Frogs are right in this thing. 4 to shoot. Nembhard. Farabella's got to get something off. And no good. Samuel pulls it down. Nembhard to the hoop. Samuel. And a foul underneath.
One thing Steve Prohm should be telling his team is no layups for Kevin Samuel. We know what a poor free throw shooter he is, and he's on the line. That was on a pass off, but he has struggled mightily all season long. Watching this morning, he hasn't made the adjustment yet.
Samuel just 35% from the stripe on the season.
Again, that's maybe the hardest thing is with a bad free throw shooter, the blockouts.
Nembhard going over the back is the call.
Well, that was the proper call. Jamie wanted a ride out underneath, but and again, that becomes just a war of attrition when you have a guy that's just going to clank the free throws. Everybody knows it's a fight for the loose ball.
Timeout, Iowa State. The Cyclones lead it by 1:27 to go in the second half. 2 free throws coming up for Iowa State. Sports Center Saturday night after Duke Miami with John Anderson and Michael Eaves. They'll have Titans Patriots post-game reactions, plus which team poses the best challenge for Lamar Jackson in the AFC divisional round, and San Antonio Milwaukee highlights Giannis and the Bucks looking for their 5th straight. Sports Center after college basketball on ESPN and the ESPN app. Everything we could have asked for today in Fort Worth as TCU gets set for what will follow these 2 free throws.
Well, I like that timeout by Steve Prohm. That tells me one thing. He is going to his playbook deluxe. He's going to run a play that next time down after these free throws, he's going to run a play that he wants at the end of the game. And I think what they've been successful at mostly, besides the middle pick and roll, is that wing pick and roll with Condit and Haliburton. After Haliburton runs through on the baseline, a little handoff, then a side pick and roll with the side cleared out.
Nixon 1 for 2 at the line, 2-point game. Here we go. Nembhard pulls up, tie game.
Nembhard playing very under control tonight. He's had some games where he's taken bad shots, but he has been stepping up big time with Bane with the foul trouble.
Nembhard with 20. Haliburton got it.
Oh, thank you. Are you kidding me? Nembhard right in his grill. Fade away from the corner.
Timeout, 30 seconds, timeout.
Not stepping out of bounds either.
Tyrese Haliburton answers Nembhard, says, I'll call your 20, and we've got a 3-point lead.
Well, this man can play for anybody. He is a special player, a leader, a distributor, and at the end of the game, will deliver.
And I think he's been hearing it a little bit from some Horned Frog faithful, and he said, that one's for you. Knocking on the triple-double door. We talked about it. Between Desmond Bane, between Tyrese Haliburton, guys that we expect to be up for Conference Player of the Year. I'm just not sure with a performance like this, he doesn't open a lot of eyes nationally.
Well, the basketball world looked at the game from the other night. Sorry, Iowa State fans, to bring it up, but when Florida A&M beats Iowa State, you say, what? How did that happen? Well, you see how it can happen. He does so much for them. Every possession, everything runs through him. And as an offensive player, and he's clearly way behind the line. And a great contest by Nembhard. But again, going back to what he does, I mean, you don't have a true backup to him. Everything runs through him. The point guard play, the scoring opportunities, the ability to make big shots, the defensive end always has his hands on balls, and just the leadership, you know, when things are going south, just to take the game over and settle everybody down.
Talked about Iowa State 7-5. Their losses, though, Oregon State, Michigan. They played Seton Hall twice, lost in Atlantis, but beat them in Ames. And then the loss to Iowa, and the one that stands out, you talked about it, Florida A&M. A word from our official crew. The explanation to Tim Welsh right now. And what did he tell you?
Well, the clock stops under 1 minute, but it went through the basket before the 1 minute mark, so the clock ran. 51-9, and here we go.
Three-point game. Bane going to the hoop, stripped away, and it'll stay at this end.
Come take a look at it.
So we'll see which direction this is going to go.
Tyrese Haliburton was saying it went off Bane, but John Higgins was standing right there. It looked like it was stripped out of his hands.
Ooh. Tell you what, Tim, it was probably a foul, but in the end, they're looking at who this ball is off of, and I think it was off Desmond Bane's left hand.
Seems like, yeah, there's the hack on the arm.
It's tough. This will be Iowa State basketball, too.
There's the hand.
Reaches back.
Which you cannot go to the monitor and add a foul.
No.
Sometimes that comes into play when you make the right call here at the end. But not sure if it was 100% conclusive to change the call. So it's going to be TCU's ball.
So they'll leave it at this end. Desmond Bane has not scored since the 2:05 mark in the first half. And that's why, because Nembhard's doing it all.
The quick elevation, the balance, and the confidence from the sophomore.
TCU trying to protect their house.
High ball screen, Condit, Haliburton right down the middle.
Block called on Farabello, Condit to the line.
Darren George was standing right there. Condit struggled at the line. Farabello was there. He was playing it properly. They stayed with the ball handler, but he was never established. Good call.
Condit gets the big one, just over 61% on the season. TCU, regardless, will have a chance to win it.
So they'll probably call a timeout to make sure that Desmond Bane has the touch here at the end, or has the ball in his hand to make the right play. But R.J. Nembhard has been a handful because doesn't need much room. He's got that quick, elevated release at 6'5", shoots you right over the top of him.
Each team one timeout apiece. You talked about Nembhard. Obviously, we've talked about Bane. Now, who gets this ball? Can you draw it up to give it 2 looks where, hey, if Bane's not there, we're going back to Nembhard? How do you do this if you're in the huddle?
Well, they've got to run some sort of pick and roll game, but they have to be careful because if Bane runs a pick and roll or Nembhard at the top, what Iowa State's going to do is they're going to double it, and they're going to rotate in the back. And if Kevin Samuel catches the ball, they are going to absolutely hack him and put through the old hack-a-shack. They're going to put him on the line if they're smart. So if Kevin Samuels catches the ball, that could be their defense. Put him right on the free throw line. He's such a good player, though. It's hard to have him in the game at this point in time, but he will set those big screens, and Steve Prohm's going to extend the defense. He's going to let Nembhard do his work.
Nembhard to the hoop, a foul called. Goes against Trey Jackson.
Now that's what happens when you overextend sometimes. And Iowa State elected to put a little full court pressure, and TCU did a good job. Samuel came up and set that back screen on Jackson, and Nembhard turned the corner, had an advantage.
Nembhard 3 for 4 at the stripe today, the 1-and-1. Gets the first one. An 81% free throw shooter on the season. This is the most important.
He has hit the rim this half, I don't believe. He has been money.
And he misses it. Haliburton rebounds. They've got to foul quickly, and Farabello does. So Haliburton to the line. And no matter what, TCU will have a chance to at least tie. Two shots for Tyrese Haliburton, who, if this ends in regulation, will fall 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Haliburton 3 of 4 at the stripe today. Connects on the first.
Well, and he's surprised who came up with the rebound and the loose ball. He has just been everywhere all night long.
Three-point game. Timeout. 8 seconds left for Jamie Dixon and TCU. And now I ask you again, what are you looking for in the huddle?
Well, you're looking for a 3. You've got to get a deep 3. And the way they will do it is they'll run a series of dribble handoffs. They'll have 4 or 5 out on the perimeter. He may keep Samuel in the game to set one of those big screens. He may plant Samuel right at the top of the 3-point line and then run a few pick and rolls, or not even pick and roll, pick and pops, or a series of handoffs. You don't have a ton of time. If I'm Iowa State, absolutely foul right away. Don't play around, because they'll take a deep 3. Nembhard or Bane, they will take a deep 3, 25 feet. And those deep 3s on a miss, if they get the offensive rebound, then your defense is scrambled. That's when they can get the open 3. And they have enough time to get 2 3s off. So if I'm Steve Prohm, as soon as they get over half court, I put them on the free throw line.
Bane and Nembhard both 4 of 6 from deep in this game. TCU as a team has shot 12 of 24, and 5 different players have connected from 3 for the Horned Frogs. Bane and Nembhard a combined 8 of 12 from deep. The rest of the team 4 of 12.
A firm believer, don't get cute with your defense here and wait for under 5 or leave it up to your players. You have to be schooled and ready to foul right away, and then trust your defensive rebounding on the free throws.
Into Nembhard. 5 seconds, Nembhard across midcourt, pulls up for the tie, banks it in! R.J. Nembhard, have yourself a day!
Heck of a shot for a guy who's played an unbelievable half. And a nice play. They ran a little screen right at half court. Iowa State was chasing. Never even attempted to foul. There's the screen. Nobody steps up. Way too late. Looks like Condit was told to foul, but he was afraid because Nembhard got into his rhythm. Watch, he goes to foul him, but it's too late. He doesn't even contest the shot. He's afraid to foul. Now all he's got to do if he doesn't foul is jump up. He's 6'9", 6'10". Get up and contest the shot. But that's a tragic mistake for Iowa State. You have to foul there. You cannot give them an opportunity for that look.
This is day one, by the way, Tim, as they try to make sure the clock is correct. 1.7 is what it's at right now.
I mean, I just don't understand why they're defending that way. You don't fool around. You have to foul them right away. As soon as they catch the ball, Chucky, you've got to foul them. You've seen it so many times that teams get burned because they wait too long to foul. And just foul them right away. There's 6-7 seconds to go, so what? Then you got to trust your rebounding. They're going to miss. They're going to try to miss the second one and tip it back out, but you've got to trust your rebounding and trust your defense to be able to make that final play.
We may not be done yet. 1.7 stays on the clock for Iowa State. They've got to go the distance to try and end this thing in regulation. Haliburton heaves it down the court. Condit puts it up, and it's blocked by Samuel. .74 apiece at the end of regulation. We are going to overtime in Fort Worth. Alongside Tim Welsh, I'm Chucky Kemp. Big thank you to a fantastic crew today in Texas. Our producer Mike Moore, director Logan McDonald, and we've got free hoops, Tim Welsh. It is overtime. This place is alive right now. TCU faithful, ready to roll. What does Iowa State have to do to try and nix the crowd?
Well, they've got to find a way to stop R.J. Nembhard. I mean, he is playing all world this half, including that 30-foot banker. But this is a resilient bunch for Iowa State, and they made a mistake defensively, and now they've got to regroup. It's behind them.
Iowa State's first overtime game since January of 2018, 2 years ago. Screen from Samuel, illegal, and we're going the other direction. That's just the third on Kevin Samuel. And a reminder, there is foul trouble for TCU. Bane has 4. Ledee has 4. He hasn't been in since. Here's Haliburton, screen from Condit. Nice pass to Condit. Samuel erases that shot.
Great recovery by Samuel. Bane was there to help, but he backed away with the 4 fouls, but Samuel was there to bail him out from behind.
Here comes Samuel. Ball screen for Farabello. Nice back cut from Bane right at Condit, and the shot blockers are having a party underneath.
The lane has not been kind on both ends because both teams attacking the ball with great timing.
Condit and Samuel are 1 and 2 in the Big 12 respectively in block shots.
Close out by Bolton. Nembhard wants it.
Trying to feed it to Samuel. Wild pass, and Haliburton attacks it.
Just made the major mistake. He picked up his dribble with nowhere to go.
Bolton traveled, got ahead of himself. 10th turnover on the Cyclones today, and a minute 9 seconds into overtime, we are still tied at 74. Everyone a little antsy right now?
Well, everyone's just trying to feel their way. A little stunned still. We're still playing after that hard 3, but TCU's got to get their confidence back here on the offensive end.
There goes Nembhard. Tough shot. They'll go to the line for 2.
Catches that ball on the right wing. He's got to force it back to the baseline, and he does such a good job. He's so long. And he's been playing pretty much under control all night long. And get tight on him because he has that ability to shoot it quickly from 3.
Nembhard adds to his total 28 points in the game. He kept him alive. When Bane was out for 7:30, he kept him alive.
And the amazing thing is he missed that free throw at the end of regulation, but had the confidence to bank in that three.
Nixon to Bolton, and now Haliburton. TCU defense has been great here in overtime. Haliburton looking for space, step back. Too strong, Farabello pulls it in. TCU by 1.
TCU on lockdown on that possession on Tyrese Haliburton.
Dennis.
Force. Deluxe contested too early. Not a good look.
Nixon kicks it out. Contact underneath. It's offensive.
Good job on the help at TCU. And Dennis took that quick shot. Now back in the good graces of Coach Dixon.
Both teams in the double bonus. Dennis left wing. Samuel gives him a screen. Only 10 seconds on the shot clock. Farabello, cross-court pass. Nembhard rises up, contested three. Nembhard!
Trey Jackson at 6'1", he's standing right there contesting, but he's just too small to guard the 6'5" Nembhard, who just rises up, doesn't need a lot of room, and playing with unbelievable confidence and mojo. Shots.
Nembhard, the sophomore from Keller, Texas. 9 of 13 games this year in double figures. Averaging 12 on the season, but 31 today to push Iowa State to the brink. Their defense has been fantastic. Condit gets Samuel up. Tough shot, gets it to go.
Great job by Condit. Just to keep his balance, and a big man dribbling the ball in the lane like that under pressure, under duress. You don't usually like that, but took his time. Great footwork.
Freshman Trey Jackson at the top of your screen guarding Nembhard. Farabello, here's Bane. Pulls up. No good. Cyclones a chance to tie or take the lead.
Good defense by Nixon. Stayed with Bane on the wing. Made him rush that shot just a touch.
Haliburton got caught in the air, and it's a turnover.
You rarely see that. Left the floor with nowhere to go.
Timeout TCU. A game where there have been 20
on the line you go, not even a second thought.
No timeouts remain for the Cyclones. 1 for TCU. Dennis. Oh, he gets to the hoop!
I think that's exactly what they wanted, but Dennis saw the C's part. He turned the corner, no help was there, and he said, good night.
Cyclones need an answer. Nembhard all over Haliburton. To Condit. Goes to the hoop. Bolton for 3. Good!
Of course. Condit got caught in the middle of the floor. Looked like he had nowhere to go, but good presence of mind, and Bolton delivers.
3.5, 4-second differential. They foul Farabello. And he will shoot his first free throws of the season. That's 3 on Bolton.
A little hesitation move, and Haliburton thought he was going to kick it back out, but Condit does a nice job. He gets caught in there, and for some reason, Dennis runs to the ball. He's got to stay home on the shooter. Instead, he allows Bolton that free rein on the wing.
Free throw 1 and 2 for Farabello, and he misses the first. The door is open.
Well, that's a great job by Iowa State. You have to extend the game. There was not enough time between the game clock and the shot clock. And again, as you said it, his first go-round right there on the line.
1 of 2. 2-point game. Iowa State can do whatever they want right here.
They're going to get the first best shot. Put the ball in that man's hands. They need to space the court a little bit better.
Haliburton, long pass. Jackson keeps it in. Bolton downhill, blocked by Samuel. Taken away, loose ball. And a foul is going to be called. I think they got Condit, and Steve Prohm is beside himself.
Samuel blocked the shot and then had the loose ball, and then it got pinched out of his hands. And here, Bolton does a good job of Samuel. They should have fouled him right there. They tried to foul him.
So it is Samuel going to the line. So that is the right call. Condit grabbed his jersey. I think they thought it was after that.
It was a delayed whistle, and he goes to foul Samuel, and he does, and that's what Darren George called, which it's a good play for Iowa State.
Samuel airballs, and you can see it's partially mental for him as well at the stripe. .4 left in overtime. Iowa State will have a chance. Misses. Condit to Haliburton. 3 seconds. Haliburton. Off the mark, off the front iron, and TCU hangs on in Fort Worth.